Pau.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast on contemporary universal history. Today, we will be discussing some of the most important and impactful events and also the ideas that shaped our modern world.
Yes, it all started with the end of the Cold War in 1989, marked a major turning point in history. The Soviet Union collapsed, ending decades of rivalry between the United States and the USSR. As a result, the United States became the world's dominant superpower in the world.
This period also saw the rapid explosion of globalization and countries become increasingly connected through trade and technology, communication and transportation, and goods services and information could move around the world faster than ever before.
Yes, and
And as globalization expanded like economies, they became more independent. And what happens in one country, then it happens in many others, like financial crisis, supply chain disruptions, and often have global impactful consequences.
yes, and also it is a fact that at the same time the world began facing new challenges that crossed national borders. This included internal terrorism, humanitarian crisis, climate change, migration, and growing economic inequality.
Yes, and understanding this development help us better understand current world events and the international issues that continue to shape our lives today.
Okay, it's very interesting.
Now, we're gonna take to another part of the debate, talking about 911 and the impact it had in the war.
Okay, we can remember September 11, 2001. Members of the terrorist organization Al Qaeda hitched 4 airplanes and carried out attacks against the United States. 2 planes struck on World Trade Center in New York. One hit the Pentagon and another crashed in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people were killed. That was very huge.
Yes, and also following the attacks, the United States launched the war on the terror. The first target was Afghanistan because the Taliban government was providing shelter to Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda. In my opinion, the intervention was justified because every nation was the right to defend itself and prevent terrorist attacks.
Yeah, and I can understand that argument, but I think the situation is more complicated. Although removing terrorist bases was an important goal, the war lasted for 20 years, caused significant destruction, and resulted in many civilian casualties. The long-term results.
Yes, they also remain controversial, but I think that another major event was the invasion of Iraq in 2003. The U.S. government claimed that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction and they threat to international security.
Supporters of the invasion argued that action was necessary to protect global security and prevent dangerous weapons from falling into the wrong hands.
Okay.
But however,
However, no weapons of mass destructions were ever found. Many critics believe the invasion was not justified and contributed to instability throughout the Middle East.
And some of the geopolitical consequences of these events are still visible today. Like, for example, security measures around the world increased dramatically, especially at airports and borders, because it is several security there.
yes, governments also expand surveillance and intelligence programs to combat terrorism. This created debates about privacy and civil liberties that continue today,
And
intelligence.
addition, conflicts in the Middle East contribute to the refugees crisis, political instability, and regional tensions that still affect international relations, and this is very important and it's affect a lot.
I think that overall the war on terror changed global politics and security policies, right? Even today, countries continue to deal with challenges related to terrorism and regional conflicts.
Well, now passing to another part of the debate, we will talk about capitalism versus communism.
Let's begin with capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system based on private ownerships, free markets, competition, and consumer choice. This is neoliberalism, and one major advantage is that it encourages innovations and entrepreneurships because people are motivated by profits and their own money.
And another advantage is efficiency because business compete with one another, which often leads to better products and technological advance and economic growth that is very important for a state or for an economy.
Yes,
That's right.
Capitalism also was disadvantage. Well, if often disordered, unevenly creating significant economic inequality.
Yes.
Some people become extremely wealthy while others struggle to meet basic needs.
Yes, I'm in favor in capitalism.
Another criticism
Me too.
is consumerism. Capitalist societies sometimes encourage excessive consumption, which can contribute to environmental problems and unsustainable use of resources, as we all know.
Okay, now let's discuss something very important about communism. Communism is based on the idea that the means of production should be owned collectively, right, for all. Its goal is to create a more equal society by reducing economic differences between people. Okay, so here we don't have wealth and poor. We have a mix of them.
Supporters argue that also communism can provide like universal access to healthcare, that it is very crucial. Also education and other essential services while reducing poverty and inequality.
Yes, in another hand, many communist economies struggle with inefficiency because governments control production and prices. Without competition, innovation often slow down. Like it's really bad capitalism for the world.
And some of the historical examples also show like the centralized government sometimes restrict political freedoms and individual rights, that it's also a bad point for that.
Did communists completely fail with the collapse of the Soviet Union? I don't think so.
No.
Well, the Soviet model collapsed as such as China and Vietnam still maintain communist political systems while incorporating market-based economic reforms.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Some ideas associated with communism, such as social welfare programs and government involvement in the economy, still exist in many countries today.
Yes, it is very like global nowadays.
That's very important. And also this brings us an important question. Is modern capitalism sustainable? I don't think so.
Maybe like capitalism has generated like enormous economic growth, technological process that it is nowadays crucial, but challenges such as climate change, inequality, financial crisis, and that raise concerns in long-term
Well, that's right.
sustainability.
Yes, and I think also that many experts believe that future economic systems may combine elements of both capitalism and socialism, seeking a balance between economic freedom, and I think that's the best option for the world and the social protection.
Well, I think that neither system is perfect. I mean, studying both allow us to better understand the economic and political debates that continue to shape the world. And it's no one is perfect. I mean, both of the both have advantage and disadvantage.
Yeah.
Well, now talking on individual conclusions, I really think that like throughout all this learning of the topic of history, it is learning throughout the course was understanding how historical events are connected, like the Cold War, globalization, and modern conflicts, and all influence today's world. Understanding history helps me better understand current relations in international things and also global politics and how it affects our society nowadays.
Yes, I also learned a lot. Like one of the best lessons I had is that globalization and economic interdependence, countries are more connected than ever before. That's what globalization is, and decisions are made in one part of the world that can affect millions of people everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, I think this course helped me like understand the relationship between economics and political and society, because maybe I know, but I don't know the factors. And studying capitalism and communism show me how economic systems influence people's opportunities and quality of life.
Well, I think that, but also the topic that impacted me the most was international conflict. I learned that wars often have long-lasting consequences that continue affecting towards today the countries and the population for so many years, and also in economics.
Yes, and I learned that the importance of analyzing different perspectives before forming conclusions. History was complex and understanding multiple viewpoints helped us develop critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and in my opinion, understanding contemporary history helps me make sense of the news and the global events happening to me. It also allowed me to be more informed citizen and better understand the challenges facing our world.
Well, and also like we are from Mexico, it is very interesting like relating this universal history of many international places different from ours. We can compare how other historical events that became very like famous or global, it can impact a lot of nations, including ours. Like for example, 911, 9/11. It was a very impactful event for all of us because it was a very security concern of everyone, that because it was a terrorist attack in our one of our countries that are next to us, and many of our society, and I am sure that other countries were very concerned about that event, and we can learn in another perspective how the event were and
Well, I
how
think
it
that
goes.
understanding the past makes us to not commit the same errors and the
Have a
past.
better
Exactly,
future.
Yes,
exactly.
we need to understand the background and the history of a country,
Yes.
and in this
We
system,
also like the same,
The same mistakes.
Yes.
we need like a better world or
and also to have a, like we said, a balance between
Yes.
systems, economic systems, to reach for the best economy, a better economy, for in this case in Mexico and in the
Yeah,
world.
better government also is very important.
We hope you learned something, and thank you for seeing us and listening to us. See you next time.
Goodbye.